Hello and welcome to the All 12 Signs video series for the Sagittarius New Moon, which is happening on the 12th or the 13th of December, depending on where you live. I will be reading for Sagittarius and potentially Scorpio in this video. It all depends how long they go on for. And I'll be reading how this moon is showing up for you, where you've come from, what's coming down with the moon, and how this is unfolding moving forwards. My name's Chloe. I work with card divination, astrology, and I channel energies through my body. It's just one of the ways that I channel. As you can see, my hands are moving around right now. This is independent of my conscious thought, drawing in energies from different dimensions to help us heal, help us clear stuck energy, and open up portals to source to get us in alignment with our soul's frequency. Is like a form of light language. For those of you who know your time of birth and your natal chart, I really recommend you check out the sign that falls in the first house. This is called your rising sign, where your ascendant is. All the signs will be as if they are in the first house, so the astrology will link in closest or with that. However, it does not invalidate you looking at any other part of your chart, perhaps where your sun or your moon are, because we're dealing with the luminaries in this transit. Just look to wherever that sign falls in your chart, look to the house that it's in, the themes of that house, and apply those themes to the messages that come through. It's as if that sign with all the connotations of your natal chart have now moved to the first house. I hope you enjoy. Sagittarius rising, how you doing, Sag? For those of you tapping into the Sagittarius energy and it doesn't fall in your first house, which is called your rising sign, where your ascendant is, look to the house that it does fall in your natal chart. Look to the themes of that house and apply those themes to the messages that come through. It's as if that Sagittarius energy, with all the connotations of your natal chart, astrological points, celestial bodies, themes of house, all of that information, apply all of that. It's as if it's all now moved to the first house. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Now, Sagittarius, wherever Sagittarius is in your chart, whatever you've got there, you've got a new moon there, a new beginning in this area of your life, in the Sagittarius area of your life. Happens once a year. This new moon is pretty powerful. I've done a collective reading for this. There was like a single message that came through that was just kept getting repeated over and over and over again. It's all in these oracle cards as well, which really surprised me. Because I had the message come through, pulled these cards separately, read what these cards were all about, and it mimicked it exactly. So if you want to go check that out, that's where I break down the astrology in way more detail, and pulled some collective tarot cards as well. So especially for Sag risings or Sag moon or sun or any Sag placements, really, to be honest. I love the collective readings. It's where I get to be a bit more esoteric. I talk about the journey of the soul that we've been going on since the hybrid eclipse in Aries at the beginning of this, well, not the beginning of this year, in Aries season. It was the second Aries new moon that we had. We have a hybrid eclipse every 10 years. Each new moon, I felt, has been building on this soul integration that we're working with. And that Sagittarius new moon was very, very powerful in its message. I'll touch on it briefly in these readings, but if you want the full details, go check out the collective. Right, regardless of wherever Sagittarius is in your chart, this is happening in Sagittarius. So this is kind of like a conjunction. This is activation of a new cycle. Whatever you got in Sagittarius, whatever this new moon is activating, a new beginning. It's a closing out of an old cycle, bringing everything that we've learned from that, letting go of everything that we don't need, and then activating a new vibrational frequency that's implementing everything that you've already been doing. So this is kind of stemming from the full moon that we had in Sagittarius during Gemini season, right? That will be the first pile that I'm pulling cards for, because I work with 6-month cycles when it comes to lunations. I see them as portals. They are both beginnings and endings, but also endings and beginnings, right? You can't have something new without the ending of something. So everything that you learn, all the downloads that you got from the Sagittarius full moon in Gemini season, that would have been unfolding. You would have been putting that into action in the lead up to this new moon. So the first pile, there's going to be 3. First pile is what's been going on since the Sagittarius full moon. The second pile is the download that we're getting for the moon itself, right? And this is a download that will then unfold over the next 6 months. Sometimes the cards can very easily link into what's happening to you around the time of the new moon, but I like to focus on what download you're getting. And this is based on the narrative that's come in from from the way all the planets are talking to each other at the exact time of this new moon. And then the third and final part is how all of this energy is manifesting moving forwards. So let's begin. Let's talk about Sagittarius rising. Where is this happening? Well, this is happening in your first house. This is the house of you, the house of self. This is how you embody your sun or your moon in your actions and your deeds, depending on if you've got a day or a night chart. Depends which that determines which luminary has more prominence in your chart. It's often how other people see you, because they see the lens in which you embody either that cognitive mind or that emotional body. They see the outside lens of that, which is your first house. It's your body, it's your appearance, it's your character, and it's your sense of self. So it's a very big, beautiful, lovely, this moon, honestly, I think this might be my favorite moon this year, but there's been so many good ones. But this feels very it feels very warm, it feels very open, but it also there's a strength there that we're moving through, where we're bringing in a really beautiful vibrational frequency for us collectively. But particularly in the first house, it's going to be a time to plant seeds around integrating yourself, allowing a higher vibrational frequency that's more in line with your soul's journey to get activated during this new moon. Whether you're watching this after the event or not, I don't find you're missing out on it, because we can still plant those seeds, we can still plant that intention. This moon is also very much linked into the Mercury retrograde, because 8 hours after this moon is exact, Mercury's going to go retrograde. So Mercury's also going to go retrograde into your sign, Sagittarius. I've just done a Mercury retrograde series, so if you want to go check that out, they're really long because there's a lot going on with this retrograde, and it's the last one with Pluto in Capricorn for another 7 generations. So ending a big cycle with Pluto in Capricorn. And so that Mercury retrograde is infused with the new moon, right? With the download that's coming with this new moon. So I recommend, if you are setting intentions, just to hold space for the fact that Mercury is going to retrograde into your sign. It is going to be affecting this next cycle. And so we're going to get a later staggered transformational energy, not until the end of January, when Mercury leaves its retrograde phase, that you may not see things kick off, right? So just, when you're setting intentions, you don't even have to overthink it and think, oh, what does that mean? Just acknowledge that that's happening 8 hours after the exact new moon. So it's still going to be happening on the day of the new moon itself, unless, I think it's in America where this moon is at midnight. No, I take that back entirely. It's at midnight in the UK on the 13th. So it will be either 6 or 8 hours after that. So it will be late in the... So if we think about maths, which I'm not that great at, Mercury will be going retrograde either very early hours of the 12th or the early in the morning of the 13th. So just bear that in mind when you're setting intentions, even if you're coming to it after the event. And that way you're sort of honoring what's going on in the sky, rather than trying to overly control the situation, and then you're allowing the transformational energy of that retrograde to help facilitate this new moon energy as well. This ring card is about cycles and the fact that things aren't linear, and that was coming up. A lot of past life energy came up in the collective reading, and obviously the retrograde isn't linear. It looks like Mercury's going backwards in the sky. So I really it's quite funny that they were trying to bring that energy in, because it's referencing the fact that I'm saying don't worry about it's not being at the time, because you can still, time is linear, and it's also everything all at once, and it's also cyclical. So you're not missing out. Right, let me carry on talking. New moon in your first house. So this can be planting seeds around how you embody yourself, how you walk your talk, basically, how you take care of your body, your appearance, understanding your sense of self. We're always peeling back those onion layers and figuring out who we are, and pulling, and the more layers we pull back, the more that we find that the layers keep on going. So you can set new intentions around a revamp in who you are, an elevation of what's going on in your life and how you want to embody that. Right, so pretty straightforward when a new moon is in the first house, as it is all to do with you. But we do want to look to where Jupiter is, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and whatever's going on with the ruler of a sign is impacting what the signs that it rules. Apologies, my words today have been a bit all over the place. I'm recording this on Thursday, Jupiter's day, and Jupiter is still retrograde, so there's an element of Jupiter's in full force and it's retrograde, so the ability to express I was going to say wisdom, but I don't want to toot my own horn on that one at all. But that sense of communicating something that has a higher vibrational frequency is just getting a little bit stuck. I've noticed that for Thursdays. Thursdays have always been a little bit, since Jupiter's been retrograde, just a little bit, there's just a and so Jupiter is over in the 6th house for you, Sagittarius rising. In general, regardless of whether Sagittarius is your rising sign or not, Taurus is in conjunct the Sagittarius energy, and in conjuncts they're a bit discombobulating because we're dealing goodness me, we're dealing with 6. Whoa, would you look at that? These will be moved around, the energies will move these around, so they're not in any particular order. 2 threes, the Magician and the Ace of Wands. Well, Sag. Well, I'm not surprised. This moon seems pretty... Whew. Right, in conjunct. So there's 6 different energies at play between Taurus and Sagittarius. Sag, you are mutable fire and you are yang in nature. Taurus is fixed earth and yin in nature. So that's 6 different energies trying to figure out how to work with one another. So this can feel a bit discombobulating. It can be crossed wires, misdirection. It might involve a little bit more hard work in order to get everyone. It's like herding cats, really. But once you manage the skill of learning to herd cats, whoo, well, you are a magician, in fact. So it's really, once you kind of acknowledge that it might be a little bit discombobulating and a little bit frustrating, these energies, once you can kind of take a step back, it's then like, well, then you've got 6 energies to play with. You can get really creative and you sort of break out of conformity and break out of the mold. Inconjuncts are very inventive and innovative in their nature once you really start to lean into them. So even though it's a bit of a discombobulating energy with Jupiter to your Sagittarius energy, and you would have been feeling this on and off since May when Jupiter went into that sign. So it's going to be there till May next year. So hopefully you've sort of adjusted to that discombobulation of things not quite going as smoothly as you would like them to, and the retrograde on top of it. Sagittarius rising, you have this in your 6th house. This is the house of work, health and routines. This is the adult in the room, right? And so often the self doesn't necessarily want to commit to work, health and routines, which is why, you know, you kind of got different energies, like not really wanting to play with each other. However, as I said, like once you figure it out, once you learn to bring that expansive fire, that desire to speak your mind and share and move around and tap into the pleasure principle of life, that sort of the desire of Venus in your physical senses, right? I often find with people with Sagittarius risings, sometimes they can work in making people feel good in their body, right? That can definitely be a thing in the way that you work of that very passionate spark of spirit that is part of the collective. So you're navigating collective spark, collective soul, source energy, right? And being able to harness that through the physical body, right? Through the senses of Taurus, through the sense of wanting to provide stability in the way that you work and wanting to find pleasure and joy and this ease that Taurus wants to bring, this slowing down in the way that you work, and really needing to find a lot of love and a lot of pleasure in the way that you work as well. And Jupiter has been there, as I said, for a little while. I've done a Jupiter series. So if you want to see Jupiter in Taurus, if you want to have a deeper understanding of what Jupiter means in the 6th house and you haven't caught that, I do recommend it. It was just for the direct motion. I didn't do one for the retrograde, but it might still give you a deeper understanding of what Jupiter's doing in the 6th house. So the themes of the 6th house and Jupiter being there, providing wisdom, providing a depth of understanding, a sense of elevation, you striving to find depth in the way that you work, in the way that you take care of your health and your routines. Now, Jupiter has been retrograde for quite some time. I think it was at the beginning of September. And so you might have felt that the things that you may have been working on and may have been expanding into since May with Jupiter just got put on hold, or you've had to question them and go inward and find deeper resources within you with the Jupiter retrograde. It's often when Jupiter is retrograde, that sense of abundance, that sense of opportunities just get a little bit narrow, and it's more an inner experience rather than an outer one. And so we do have this influence of that inner journey, that inner vessel that Jupiter is creating and providing spaciousness, providing abundance, providing a sense of elevation in your internal space that will be influencing this new moon in how you embody that. I love a Jupiter retrograde. It means you don't necessarily go on faith with everything. It means you ask questions, you question yourself, and that's a really healthy process. It's critical thinking, right? Thinking about the bigger pictures in terms of how that makes you feel, right? And so this is all feeding into your first house of how you embody yourself. So this new moon is being flavored by an upgrade from in the way that you work, right? In the way that you take care of your health, in the way that you implement healthy routines that serve you, and your expansion of self and getting that more in alignment. Jupiter's going to go direct on either the 30th or 31st of December at the end of the year. And that is when things are really going to start to kick off. I talk about that loads more in the Mercury retrograde series because it's really tied into the whole cycle. Right, what else did I want to say? Well, Taurus is ruled by Venus. So we want to go and check out where Venus is. And Venus is in your 12th house. So Venus is influencing Jupiter, who's influencing this moon. And she's over in Scorpio. This is next door to Sagittarius, but for Sagittarius rising, this is the 12th house, the hidden house, the house of mysteries. This is a difficult house, I can't lie. This is where depression, anxiety, grief, and loss, the mental constructs that may cause us just more frustration or unease in our body. This is where these can show up. But it's a very magical house. And once we sort of work through the trauma responses and the limiting beliefs, we tap into the magic of our soul deep in our unconscious being. And that unconscious isn't just in the mind. It is that which is we are not conscious of in all the etheric fields, right? That's a very, very magical house. Venus moving through here can be difficult. Pallas Athena is there as well at the same time, which is bringing about this sense of embodied wisdom. And I love this transit. I love the fact that Venus, this is the first time Venus is moving through here since the South Node was there as well. So that's really adding on an extra layer of her cleaning up whatever the South Node helped you refine, right? So you would have had that South Node transit in your 12th. You would have gone through some times of isolation, perhaps of working through how you feel, like what sort of limiting beliefs and trauma responses that you have, and also potentially really tapping into your magic. So now Venus is moving through there, and so she is influencing Jupiter. So how is this showing up? Well, this can be trauma responses and limiting beliefs that have blocked your ability to work. I see a lot of neglect in the 6th house. So often through parental figures or past life energy, we then may go on to not be able to be the adult in the room for ourselves and commit to our work and commit to taking care of our physical body, commit to putting something into a routine. And so Venus moving through the 12th is really facilitating a release of those things. She brings harmony, she brings grace, she brings ease. In Scorpio, there's an intensity and there's a confidence being able to speak the truth, right? So I feel with that and Pallas Athena of finding wisdom for the longer term is really releasing you a lot of old patterns. And if you watch the collective reading, I talk a lot about how this is integrating the collective past lives that we've had, and if they've been through any difficulties, and we're then carrying the weight of that this moon really feels like it's elevating and helping bringing a sense of generosity of spirit and joy to that energy that is then allowing you to roam free, right? So Venus in the 12th, where there's a lot of unconscious things going on, is helping facilitate that and help you be able, work's a wonderful thing. Like putting effort into something and, you know, coming out the other side and feeling proud of yourself is a wonderful sensation, right? I have no problem with hard work. It's our attitude towards it. And it tends to be the people in charge, if you're not working for yourself, that tend to make it a bit annoying. Let's be real. You know, yeah, I'm just thinking of a lot of various jobs that I've had, and I've found solace in all of them. But I'm kind of the person, I quite like organizing stuff, so it's like mindful meditation for me and instant achievement. Right, I'm detouring, but anyway, Venus. So Venus is governing what's going on with Jupiter. So you're clearing out some things from your unconscious mind, potentially bringing in some magic, your pure power of being able to transform into your work, right? And allow a real intensity to come into that pleasure principle. I'm really kind of enjoying that energy, actually. But Scorpio is ruled by Mars. So Mars, where's Mars? Well, Mars is in Sagittarius. So we've got a bit of a feedback loop between Mars, Jupiter and Venus. Mars is finding our motivation and drive to embody yourself. You may feel like you're just a bit more confident in the actions that you've been taking, with Mars being in the sign of Sagittarius. And Venus will move in there soon as well. And you'll just be starting to feel good about yourself after this new moon, and that will build on what's coming through. So, yeah, Mars, our motivation, our drive, our passion, then, you know, obviously goes back to Jupiter. So it's all linking back in to your embodiment of the way that you work, right? How other people see you, perhaps how other people, you may have some limiting beliefs around how you're viewed in the way that you work and what you put out there. I really feel that this is getting shifted, where either they don't see you or value you, and you don't care in the best possible way, or they do start to be able to bear witness to what it is that you have to bring. And yeah, Jupiter moving direct is going to sort of make things not feel as such a grind, right? And not feel so hard, as much as words. Won't feel like that you have to put in so much effort. Like there's some grace coming through with this. But yeah, with Venus in the 12th, I do feel like it's helping clear out some visibility issues, and linked into sort of the major themes with the collective reading, like past life energy, where people weren't able to embody their work. They weren't able to take care of their health and routines, and we're holding on to that. A liberation of not being visible in the way that you work, right? Sixth house is also co-workers, so other people perhaps maybe not seeing the way what it is that you present, and that leaving a sort of resistance. And I really feel like there's such an independent energy coming through, because we've got Uranus there as well, making an inconjunct to this sun and moon, which is going to be disrupting a lot of bonds, a lot of binds, and clearing the path of things that have held you back from being confident, being yourself. It's doubly that's doubled up with the fact that Mars is pretty much conjunct this moon, with the asteroid Ceres, which is providing bounty and nourishment in the way that you embody yourself. That's a beautiful energy to mix into the way that you work, and the way that you take care of your health and your routine. So you can set intentions bringing in the themes of that 6th and 12th house Sag rising, and that could could be useful. Right, I've kind of said everything I wanted to say. Do look to where your sun and your moon are in your natal chart, because wherever they are, what houses they're in, and the themes of those houses will activate they activate during wow, every lunation. So that will add on a personal level to how this moon is showing up for you. Sag, what's going on? What's going on? Look at this spread. This is wild. I love it. Right, we just had the Yang, sorry, I got distracted by the energies. We just had the Yang day action side of the reading, interesting 633. The go, 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 the stimulation, the extrovert. And now you've had loads of information. Now we're going to have a little bit of yin, night, rest and digest side of the reading. I'm going to go quiet and soften my mind and let the energies move through me. They've kind of already moved the cards already, but they'll put them into piles. And I call you to soften your mind as well. You've had a fair amount of information. Just let it all settle. Don't try and overthink it, and see what intuitive hits come up. I find that's really helpful. The third eye activation card also came up. Oh, my... I don't know about you guys, but my third eye has been very... there's just a... It feels like it's throbbing all the time. Okay, that was quite a bit of short yin energy. We have for the lead up to this full moon. So this is from the full moon in Sagittarius, back in Gemini season. And we've got the Ace of Wands and we've got the Six of Pentacles. So this is saying that that full moon brought in this new spark of life, this new vitality, this new creativity in who you are, like a completion level of you, which then brought in a newer, higher vibrational frequency where there was a sense of safety in who you are. There was a sense of an activation of passion, an activation of vitality, of independence, of creativity. Aces are very they mark new beginnings and an offering from the universe of a fresh new vibrational frequency. This is what was I going to say? Oh, brain dump. This feels that with the Six of Pentacles that this this activation was getting you back into balance. So it feels like this may have been missing, right, this energy, and that with that full moon you got a download to help activate it that was bringing something into balance, where because this follows the Five of Pentacles, where these figures were left out in the cold. There was a sense of scarcity, there was a sense of not feeling supported or not being visible, right? So there may have been some energy around that where you just felt a little bit not your fullest self, or certainly not connected in the way that you would like to be, and it's come with the Six of Pentacles, which is where something higher than yourself, an energy higher than yourself, brought something into balance. So you see the scales here, in order for you to be restored. So it feels like the universe brought down this Ace of Wands that you were that was then accompanied by this sense of this grounded energy. We've got Pentacles that was helping you then instigate and move away from that Five of Pentacles, and instigate in your embodiment of self, right? Yeah, definitely a sense of rebalancing leading up to this new moon, of something that was out of balance and in a sense of scarcity, in a sense of lack, and sort of not in a full abundant flow. So it's lovely to see that that's been I mean, just the rest of the spread is wild, Sag. So so you've obviously been working on that and bring that into balance. And this could be about how you give and how you receive in the way that you embody yourself. How do you take care of yourself? Are you depleting? Are you giving to everybody else? This really feels like something, this was allowing you to take the space to cultivate something within you, without depleting yourself with others, and at the same time, because it is this give and receive card, there's an element of you may have had to have gone through certain hoops in order to navigate your new understanding of how you give and receive yourself with others. So there may have been certain situations that showed up where there may be old patterns where you may have behaved in a certain way in the past, but new ones have been coming in with that Ace of Wands and that Six of Pentacles, that there may have been similar situations where you have given too much of yourself and then felt depleted of it. But every time that's happened, you've been able to then rebalance and like take a step back and be an observation of what are you doing with this Ace of Wands, because this feels really precious. This feels like this really helped reignite something within you, that you're like, well, I know what that feels like now, and I don't want to diminish that sensation, and I'm navigating how to integrate that into your being. Okay, for the energy of the moon itself, woohoo, we got the Magician and we got the Three of Cups. So this is basically saying this new moon is liberating, is bringing you a deeper, whether it's conscious or not, deeper vibrational frequency that is helping you navigate and realize that your embodiment of self, you have all the resources that you need. Sorry if I'm like my whole body's shaking, that's why the cards are moving. The Magician, but you see the infinity symbol above their head, right? The symbols of the ebb and flow, right? The Magician is able to understand the ebb and flow of the resources around them and then create magic with whatever's around them. You think about like the Druids, they would use stones, they would be leaves, like cowrie shells. Like, we don't need all the bells and whistles. It's acknowledging that we have all the flow of the universe within us, and also being mindful of situations in our environment and how to embody them. This is also saying you are becoming the performer. You are becoming a magician that's able to manifest yourself, right? At that high vibrational frequency. And if I'm thinking about the visibility that I talked about, with that 6th house, 12th house agenda, not agenda, I don't know why I said agenda, being able to implement this in the way that you work and the way that you take care of yourself is a really beautiful thing. And also the magic that's coming in, oh, they really like that one, the magic that's coming in from the 12th, right? Feeding into the way that you work and therefore how you embody yourself, right? That is giving you the confidence that this work has helped you get to. This is now feels like, you know, the Ace of Wands. It is a wand. The Magician holds a wand, but also has all the other resources. That, like that Ace of Wands feels like it's allowed you to tap into lots of different parts of yourself, and you're able to play with that embodiment, with the multifaceted being that you are, and harness the transition that's happening with the collective soul journey of many lives, of really allowing the resources of those souls to come together in how you then as an individual vessel embody it. We've got the Three of Cups. For some of you, this might be that you're having some fun around the new moon, or doing some like high-end manifesting and bringing about a state of abundance. But just generally, this, I focus on the 6-month cycle. So this is the download that you're getting that will then unfold. We've now moved into a state of harmony, a state of flow, and this is really being appreciated by others, right? As I said, this is often how other people see you. So this is bringing, okay. Lots of body shaking here. They're really enjoying this this transmission. And head cricks. That this is there's a joy, there's an abundance, there's flows, being with like-minded people, being appreciated, being in sync but also if we step away from other people and we think about you and how you embody yourself, of you being in your flow, right? And through this embodiment, you're feeling good about who you are and the abundance that you're creating in your sense of self, right? Okay. And then we have the Sun and the Three of Pentacles. So this is how this energy is manifesting moving forward. What a progression. So we've got the 6th, which is then divided into 3 and 3. So the Sun, this is joy, this is light, this is vitality. What a card to get for the first house. You know, there's the child who's carefree, right? There's an element of play here. Sunflowers always know which way to look to get all the light that they need, all their downloads, to get all that joy and abundance in their life, right? So there's a real sense of willpower being highlighted here, and having clarity of knowing who you are and feeling good about that. And there's a childlikeness to it as well. There's sort of the play, the carefreeness of it, enjoying your existence and how you embody that. And again, visibility, right? The sun, you can't miss it. It's the biggest thing in the sky. So there's this sense of visibility, and it may not be other people, but you knowing yourself, you seeing yourself so truly that it just opens you up, because so often with visibility and lack thereof, we can limit we can get restricted by that. And I'm just, my shoulders are going back, like there's a real expansion in the heart space. Just a beautiful combination of cards with the Three of Pentacles. So this is mastery of self. this is also about collaboration. So this figure, they know themselves, they know the skills that they have, they know what they have to offer, and they're just doing them. And by doing so, that frequency draws towards them others who have different skills but are of a same vibrational match in order to create something beautiful and long lasting. So I feel like that 12th house Venus with Pallas Athena, of clearing out limitations, of you being able to embody your work and commit to yourself, commit to your mastery, commit to your knowing of self and your expression of that, and clearing out limiting beliefs around visibility. I don't know why I keep getting visibility, but it's pretty loud in my head. Of clearing out that visibility. I'm just thinking about Juno. Juno, the asteroid, is in Virgo, squaring this. The astrology is beautiful, and in your 10th house, which is your most visible part of your chart, committing to this new embodiment of your visibility, right? And so this is, if we go to the work, health and routines as well, this can be you bringing work, health and routines all together into collaboration. So you're creating a vessel within you that is beautiful and long lasting. Also, I'm thinking about all that past life energy of a deep collaboration, a building of the flow that you've created and then making it solid. Okay, Sag, wow. That was fun. Okay, I'm going to pull some qualifiers. Just look to the bottom of the deck and we've got the Knight of Pentacles, and this is sort of very slow and steady wins the race. This is a deep commitment and loyalty to self. There's oak leaves in the helmet, which represents strength and wisdom. The field at the bottom is it's plowed, but there's no seeds being planted. So it's saying this commitment to the seeds that are being planted, many seeds from many lifetimes, all coming together in order to create, in order to bring all those resources together and create magic. Okay, let's get some qualifiers. Let's see what wants to come through. Sag. We've got the Hierophant. This came up in the collective reading. This is where Jupiter is. Trainer, wisdom, understanding, mentoring. So it's highlighting the wisdom side of it, right? Of the cycles that you've been through, of feeding that wisdom into all of that and liberating you to be able to move and be able to shift, having a deeper understanding of all the things that have come before you and allowing space for you to transition into a new framework. Right, and not hold on to certain things and really be at peace and allow this movement, allow this this shift and movement to pull you forward into this beautiful energy. And wisdom, so this embodiment of self, this new beginning of embodiment self, is allowing that wisdom of Jupiter in Taurus to flow through your way of being. And so it's, it's not just linked into work, health and routines, but that is helping. Just got karma, domino effect. So clearing out, this is the Akashic Records card. I'm going to be doing a separate oracle reading. And it, because it just feels like there's a lot that's, you're clearing. It's not that you're clearing the decks, it's just acknowledging that the decks were there, you're working together with those decks, and as I said, bringing generosity of spirit and joy to all those past lives, so that may be stuck and may have been fixed within you. There's an opening up, the wisdom is being imparted to that energy, so you can then work together. You've got so much collaboration coming through, and it's a beautiful thing. Let's get a final qualifier from the numerology deck. Just had a feeling that they'd want to do some energy work. Yeah, okay, so with that, it's just sort of blocks around work, blocks around things working, you being able to commit. Hierophant is very much about commitment based off of past life energy and clearing. Oh, clearing. Oh, they just keep doing neck cricks. It's usually when they're quite excited. Right, let's get a final card, please, for Sagittarius. Okay. That's a 3. There you go. Got 9 now. Right, let's do one more. They got self-love come out. Not surprised. Love, love, love that. So, okay, so back to that Ace of Wands and that Six of Pentacles, right? So making sure you're not depleted, making sure that you are loving yourself and not giving yourself over to everybody all the time. That can definitely be an interpretation of those cards. Got health. So, it is the 6th house, the house of work, health and routines, and then we've got manifestation, and that's the last I'm going to do. So a revitalization in your health with Jupiter moving forward, right? And having this, the energy to be able to move and be free and be playful and enjoy the ride, guys. We've got manifestation as well. So whatever's coming through, whatever's coming up is, again, that magician with manifestation is that ability to create, to manifest through your being, right? Okay, Sag, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed that reading. Be good to yourself, Sagittarius. Be good to those around you. And most importantly, be well until we meet again. Scorpio, Scorpio rising. How you doing, Scorpio? For those of you tapping into the Scorpio energy and it doesn't fall in your first house, look to the house that it does fall in and look to the themes of that house. Apply those themes to the messages that come through. It's as if that Scorpio energy, wherever it is in your natal chart, all of that energy, the astrological points, the celestial bodies, the themes have now all moved to the first house. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Now, Scorpio, wherever you are, wherever this is in your chart, wherever Scorpio is in your chart, Sagittarius is next door to you. So this is what's called inverted. And this, so they're right next door. They don't have a traditional line of sight in terms of aspect, but the way I like to describe it is, imagine sitting next to somebody and but you're both looking forwards. You don't have that clear line of sight by eyesight. You can't see that person, but you know that that person is there. You can feel it on the subtle energetic field. By osmosis, you're doing energy transfer. And this is kind of what it's like when we have transits that are happening in signs next door to each other, where they know stuff's going on. It's like your next door neighbor. You can half hear. You can half hear a conversation that's coming through the window or something like that. Or you can half hear that they might be out in the garden, but you don't fully know what's going on, but the energy transfer is still there. Like, that's still a very valid thing. And when I say subtle energy, that doesn't diminish the value of it. It's incredibly powerful, and I feel like things are always going on a sort of quantum level when we're dealing with transits next door to one another. So that's what's going on with the Scorpio Sagittarius combination. Now, I'm pulling cards for 3 piles. The first pile is for the lead up to this new moon, and this is from the Sagittarius full moon that we had in Gemini season. So I always work with 6 month transits. I try and incorporate the new full moon cycle as well, because we just get little clues of what the bigger transits are all about. And so the first part is everything that you've been working on since that full moon. So when we get full moons, we get downloads that we then unfold to the new moon, and it's the same with the new to the full, right? Because you can't have a beginning without an end, and you can't have an end without a beginning. So that's the first part. So integration, what journey you've been on, what's been showing up for you for that part of the cycle. And then the second part is for the energy of the moon itself. Now, this is a great time of planting seeds. And, well, if you're watching this after the event, it's still around, because I work with 6 month cycles, as I said. So this is the energy that's being downloaded into your vessel in the way that all the planets are talking to each other at the exact time of the new moon. And so whether you're conscious of the seeds that you're planting or not, this energy is still going to be impacting you. Now, this new moon is happening about 8 hours before Mercury goes retrograde. So for those of you who do plan on setting intentions, you might want to just hold space for the fact that there is going to be a Mercury retrograde. You don't have to maybe overthink what that means in relation to the seeds that you're planting. But I just find when you create space and when you just sort of acknowledge that's what's going on, then you sort of honor the cycle of it. And then it's rather than you're fighting against it, you're working with it. So just bear in mind that Mercury will be going retrograde and it will be going back into the sign of Sagittarius. So this new moon is imprinting Mercury with this new vibrational frequency that will then affect the retrograde itself. Speaking of the retrograde, oh, that candle's gone out. I'm just going to go and get another one for you, Scorpio. Right, where was I? Oh yeah, I was talking about intentions. Yeah, but you know, the energy that's coming down with that new moon is going to be affecting. Oh, that was it. Sorry, I do apologize. Channeled quite a lot, so takes a little while for me to get back to where I was just 5 seconds ago. So I've done a Mercury retrograde series, and I break down in a lot more detail what that transit's all about. It's the last retrograde with Mercury in the sign of Capricorn with Pluto for the next 7 generations. So we're clearing out a lot of energy here and transforming it, and it is moving into the sign of Sagittarius, so it will be having an effect with this full moon, sorry, new moon. So that's all in its own series. It was the last one that I just did, and each sign has its own video, so it's really easily accessible. And so the second part is the energy that's being downloaded for you at the time of the new moon that will then unfold moving forwards. The third and final part is how all this energy is going to manifest moving forwards. As I said, I work with 6-month cycles, so this energy is taking us up to the full moon in Sagittarius that will happen in Gemini season next year. So those are the 3 piles. Let's talk a little bit more about the astrology. So Scorpio rising, where is this happening? Well, this is happening in your 2nd house. This is the house of your resources. This is the skills and tools that you have. This is the house where your skills, your tools, in order to manifest money on a regular basis, come up, as well as just general manifestation. This is the things that you value, as well as, most importantly, how you value yourself. The more that you value yourself and honor that you are the universe manifest in individual form, walk your talk, act with integrity, and love yourself unconditionally, the more you are able to tap into your high vibrational skills. My toes are wiggling at that. And resources, because you're operating from a space of abundance rather than from a space of scarcity. As frustrating as that may be, it just does appear to be facts in the way that we operate in the world. Right, so this is a new moon in the sign of Sagittarius in your 2nd house. Now, Sagittarius in the 2nd house is ruled by Jupiter. So like Aquarius rising who have Pisces, this is where money can disappear. Jupiter's very abundant, it's very generous. So I'm just only flagging that up because that might be a resolution or a new intention you want to set around the new year, to just sort of, it may not be relevant to you at all. I've just seen it in it's come up a fair amount where a Jupiter ruled sign in the 2nd house can mean overextending yourself, or in terms of Pisces, just money just not disappearing. You don't know where it is. There are no boundaries. However, it is a very it's your skills and your resources come from Jupiter, that of wisdom, elevation, expansion, a sense of deep knowing and being able to communicate that. This is a yang, mutable energy. You're able to be outward in your expression of this wisdom, in this ability to roam and wander and be curious, and it's just a absolutely transformational energy showing up for this 2nd house. And so this new moon can be setting intentions around the skills that you have, wanting to tap into them from a higher level. I was wondering what was going on with the deck because no cards were coming out, and sometimes they're very playful. And they like to do some energy work. They are just currently hold over the Akashic Records card. It says clearing old stories, releasing past lives, and freedom. I've done a collective reading, Scorpio, where I break down the astrology in way more detail, and there was a key theme linked into it. And these oracle cards, I pulled them after having channeled that message, and they really just recreated it, and it in a way that I don't remember the oracle readings being so completely on point. And it's quite hilarious that one of the cards has a horse on it, and obviously Sagittarius is half horse, half human. It's now over the heart card. So we'll see what's going on with this with you. Do bear with me while this is happening. As you probably saw for most of this reading, I was shuffling and no cards were coming out. And as I said, like the energies will often halt what's going on with the deck because they want to do some energy work. So just do bear with me. Admittedly, this is only the second sign that I've read for this lunation. But Scorpio, you might want to come and check out the oracle card reading because so far you are the only sign, well, 1 out of 2, that has they've really wanted to focus on the energy of these oracle cards coming through for you. We do have the 10 of Wands at the bottom of the deck as I'm doing this. So that sense of burden and weight and overload in the way that you see your skills and your resources and the way that you manifest in the world, right? Not being able to find the joy. Sagittarius, as I said, ruled by Jupiter, which is very jovial, very generous. So there's it's just generally felt like a bit of a blockage. In general, Jupiter is in a retrograde as well, and it affects the signs that it rules. So it really is implementing a sense of tightening in, a restriction around that expansion and that generosity and lightness of spirit, right? But it will be going direct at the end of the year, so we'll see a shift here. This new moon, right, so instigating a new frequency around how you, most importantly, value yourself. It's a very key part of this house where everything else kind of stems from that. And so there's going to be a higher vibrational frequency linked into sort of collective, you know, Sagittarius is the collective fire sign, linked into... I might just pause the video, Scorpio, while they're doing this with the deck, because I'm so mindful of all of your time. And you sitting here watching me in silence for I don't know how long. It may be a minute, maybe 5, maybe 10, and I do appreciate your time. So I'm going to pause the video while they're doing this energy work, and we'll come back round the other side and actually maybe get some tarot cards for you. Okay, Scorpio, let's try again. We'll see. Maybe it might just be astrology for you. We'll see. My decks have a mind of their own. Right, where was I? I was talking about the kind of intentions to set around a new moon for the second house, you know. This can be, as I said, accentuation of the skills and resources that you have, setting intentions perhaps to do daily meditation around tapping into your manifestation ability, and a reevaluation of the true value of who you are. You know, you are the universe manifest in individual form. Well, so that's the second, and that's sort of by osmosis feeding into your first house of how you embody yourself. That is your rising sign. It's how your sun or your moon. It's the lens in which your sun or your moon are embodied, right, in your actions and your deeds. It's often how other people see you. My toes are wiggling at that one. This is your body, your appearance, your vitality, and so this fresh new moon is by osmosis pouring into your Scorpio energy on a very subtle energetic level, breaking down energies on a quantum level to help reassess what's going on. There we go. We've finally got some tarot cards. and reassess this new vibrational frequency. Now, the thing is with Sagittarius, we want to look to where Jupiter is, because wherever the ruler is of a sign is impacting the sign that it rules, and Jupiter is over in Taurus, which is opposite your sign, Scorpio. This for you, Scorpio risings, this is the house of the other, right? This is your intimate relationships. This can be business partners, one-to-one clients, or people that you deal with on a one-to-one basis in a professional manner, as well as your intimate friends and your long-term committed romantic relationships, and your connection to source energy, right? So Jupiter has been there for a while, since May, so you've been reassessing what those relationship dynamics mean to you, what relationships mean to you, how you are in relationships as well, because it can go both ways. But Jupiter's been retrograde. It was at I think it was September 4th or around that time when Jupiter went retrograde. So you would have felt a sort of restriction around that, of perhaps questioning yourself in a one-to-one basis, and really having to go within to find a deep sense of knowing within you of who you are in relationship to your value in one-to-one relationships. And so this is all pouring in to this new moon, linked into how you value yourself. So we're getting a boost from Jupiter, getting alignment of these one-to-one relationships with how you value yourself, and how your skills and your resources are received by the other, right? This is also your ability to manifest relationship dynamics that are in alignment with this new frequency. I do always go quiet when the energies are clapping, because I appreciate it may be difficult to hear me over the noise, because they do like to clap. There are lots of energetic portals on the hands, so it's sort of activating what's been said. What else did I want to say about that? Yeah, this could be, for those of you who are in sort of long-term romantic relationships, this can be a leveling up of how you value yourself in that dynamic and how you are valued in that dynamic. Perhaps the sharing of resources, the sharing of skills and talents with others in collaboration as well could be new intentions with this one. Now, Jupiter, as I said, will be going direct at the end of the month. It's very closely linked into the Mercury retrograde, which is moving back in, will be moving into the sign of Sagittarius, and so we've got, as I said at the beginning, bear that in mind when you're setting new intentions, because things may take a little while to sort of activate, because we are dealing with a retrograde here, and especially because it is entwined with Jupiter as well, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So what else do I want to say about that? Well, Taurus is ruled by Venus, so we want to go and look to where Venus is for you, Scorpio, because Venus will be impacting what's going on with Jupiter, which will then be impacting what's going on with this moon. And Venus is over in the sign of Scorpio. She's in your sign. This is the first time Venus has been in the sign of Scorpio since the South Node has left there. She's also walking hand in hand with Pallas Athena, which I really like, because traditionally Venus in Scorpio is opposite her own sign. So this is she's deemed to be in her fall. However, I love Venus in Scorpio. She's intense. She's passionate. She wants you to get to the truth of things. She wants to bond. She wants to go into the darkness and transform. She's very feisty, being able to say what she needs to say. And she's moving through your first house, having spent a fair amount of time in Libra. So you would have gone through a difficult transit there, because any transit in the 12th house can have a lot of heaviness to it, as well as a lot of magic and a realignment of your unconscious mind. And now she's moved into the first, where she's activating everything that you've been learning with that Venus transit in Libra, especially conjunct the South Node, which would have made it even more draining, as then your embodiment of this, right? So this embodiment of self, there may be some more charm, there's some more grace, a sense of appreciation and value for who you are and how you embody yourself, a desire to elevate yourself, and bring some harmony into the way that you express yourself through that first house. But Venus with Pallas Athena, as I said, she's an asteroid, and she represents embodied strategy, right? Embodied wisdom. So she's actually giving a little bit more longevity, long-term thinking to what Venus is doing, which I've really noticed has sort of tempered some of the extreme ends of Venus in Scorpio. So very supportive energy coming in with the two of them. They will be exactly conjoined and opposite Jupiter at the time of this new moon. So it's bringing in this opposition between the self and the other. And so often we can prioritize one side or the other with any opposition. So this could be prioritizing the other over self, or prioritizing self over other. What we really want to do is bring this into balance. And so you've got the two benefics opposite one another, of trying to find a happy medium between your expression of your individual self in one-to-one relationships. And so we've got this amalgamation of the benefics supporting one another. So your sense of self and Venus wanting to bring, hello Venus. Oh, goodness me. That is the Venus card for those of you who might not know. So we've got this combination of this very intense Venusian energy, wanting you to feel good in this 3D world and wanting that to get in balance with the wisdom you have to offer in a one-to-one relationship, and any wisdom that you're gleaning from others. Because the seventh, I find it's often how you are in one-to-one relationships, and also how those relationships, the things that you're drawn to in others in relationships. So we've got this balance here, which is then all the self and how that is viewed by the other and how you are with the other, that's then feeding into your sense of value. So in the collective reading, I talked a lot about how this was one of the clearest collective readings since the hybrid Aries eclipse that we had, which was the second new moon in Aries during Aries season, and that activated for me a particular cycle which I've been doing for every new moon. And this one and that was sort of an integration of our soul journey, our past lives, our future lives, all coming together, either on the unconscious level and slowly through our conscious level of integration. And this is all about the collective fire, the collective souls that you have been through ancestral and spirit, right? And so it's bringing a sense of generosity to those past lives that may have had a hold over you, that may have had some kind of pain, some resentment, some anger, some frustration that they have embedded in your body. That we are here to elevate, right? Jupiter's very generous. We're providing the sense of ease, the sense of wisdom to all those lives, so they all can come together in order to help facilitate your individual vessel in this lifetime. And so often there may be things linked around lack of value, lack of worth, lack of having the skills, or the skills being visible, that may be being transmuted during this new moon and elevated. It's not that we're ignoring these stories of these energies. It's that we are giving them a sense of grace and a sense of peace and a sense of wisdom of knowing that they are part of a chain of events, right? Lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And there is a bigger picture, right? Jupiter and Sagittarius is very much about bigger pictures. And this is the outward yang expression of it. So we're activating this energy in order to take action in the world. Now, you might want to look to where your sun and your moon are in your natal chart. Look to the houses that they're in and the themes of those houses, because those themes are likely to show up with every lunation, but I like to mention it every time, just to give you a more personal understanding of what's showing up for you during this new moon, like what kind of things you may want to incorporate into your intentions. I just wanted to look at the bottom of the deck, and it was the Three of Pentacles. Very interestingly, they're putting that over the Akashic Records. And for those of you who don't know what the Akashic Records is, this is the place where all our soul information is in every soul and every lifetime. And it's a place that we can go and access. It's also a place where we can go and clear energy of certain energies that may have be linked to you, not only in this lifetime and past lifetimes, but in all realities. And we can go there, maybe in your meditations, when you're setting intentions, to help clear out this energy and move into a space of abundance, right? This expansion energy energy of Jupiter. And very interestingly, we've got the Three of Pentacles, which is about collaboration and mastery. So, right, we just had the Yang day action side of the reading, the go, 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 the stimulation, all the information, the extrovert. Now we're going to have a little bit of yin, night, rest and digest, right? I'm going to go quiet and soften my mind, let the energies move the cards around. They'll do some energetic work, well, they may do, and well, they already have been. And then we'll put them, then the energies will put the cards into the three piles, and I'll come back round and I'll bring in the tarot with the astrology. I call you to soften your mind as well. You just had lots of information. Don't overthink it. Let it all settle into your mind, and then see what intuitive hits are coming up for you. You may be noticing in the lead up to this new moon a lot of old patterns coming up that are here to be elevated. Oh, 2 6s. That's very interesting. I know I said I'd be quiet. Sagittarius got 2 3s, so this is quite fascinating. Wow, Scorpio, this is quite a powerful spread. After all the rigmarole at the beginning, and I paused and I was clearing that deck and doing energy work for about 5 minutes. So, and interestingly, with that deck, you know, the 10 of Wands was on the bottom. I don't remember cutting the deck, but I must have done, because then Temperance was on the bottom, and that is the card for Sagittarius. So it's all about alchemizing yourself and really refining and bringing together lots of small parts into the one whole, and coming out with a new way of thinking about something. Okay. So for the lead up to this new moon, we've got the 5 of Swords and then the 6 of Swords. I don't think I've ever had that come up in one of these readings. So we've got a clear transition, a movement forwards, a movement away. The 5 of Swords is the bully in the room. It is winning it's conflict energy, right? For me, it's the most difficult card in the tarot, not the Death card, not the Tower. It's the 5 of Swords, and this is winning at what costs, and this figure is actually carrying the 3 of Swords. And for those of you who may not be familiar, it's a heart with 3 swords in it. It's one of the most clear visual representations of what a card may mean. And this is grief, this is pain, this is frustration, the 3 of Swords. And it's often things that may have been said or may have been done to you, or you may have said to yourself, to distort your heart's frequency. Right, and this figure has won, but has won all of that. So it's like winning at what cost. And you know, we've got the victim mentality and we've got the bully mentality. Bullies were often victims. Trauma begets trauma. It's only in very rare occasions where that is not the case. And we can get stuck in both of these places, and we have been both of these things, not only in this lifetime but in many lifetimes before. And if I'm linking this back into the second house of your value, right, and I feel like this is a mixture of both your mind being a bully, right, and distorting your understanding of your value. And this can be based off of a reflection of the outside world, and however we shouldn't really listen to okay, that's a big generalization, but the opinions of others, you need to do you and know your true value, right? But this also can be actual situations where you haven't been respected, you haven't been valued, your skills and resources haven't been valued. You felt like constantly everything is a fight. And this is really highlighting that since that full moon in Sagittarius, you have been working with this difficulty, right? I think this card represents everything that all of us go through that causes the most pain. So I'm saying none of this with judgment. Certainly have my own Five of Swords situations throughout my life, and actually still now, right? It's still something that I have to work with, because it's a very heavy collective energy, and it's an energy that has been repeated over and over and over and over and over again. It's about dominion, right? Domination, but at what cost? And it is, as I said, for me, I just feel incredibly uncomfortable whenever this card comes up. I respect it and I honor it, but it's an energy that I see out in the world. I see in people when I see them destroy themselves, when I see we fall into conflict over peace every time because we feel so hurt, because we are holding that three of swords. You think of the kid that was bullied by a parental figure who then goes and, you know, bullies kids in the playground. It's in order to get some sense of power because they have had that Three of Swords with them the whole time, right? Honestly, starting to make me want to cry. But anyway, right, I'll move on. We've got the Six of Swords here, which I love. Sixes are protected energy. You have two sixes show up here. You've been guided, whether that's you're being supported by the universe, but you've done the work yourself is what I'm getting, because it's very mental. So you have to put in the work yourself for that one. And this figure, as they're moving away from the rocky waters, the tempestuous waves, to calm, still waters. But this is a transition phase. You're not there yet, but you are taking with you the things that are truly of value that will help you survive and thrive in these calmer waters. So it's not the bully, it's not the victim mentality. These are constructs and ideas of knowing what resources and skills you have, knowing the value that you have and what you have to offer in order to manifest in the world. And you are taking it to a new landscape. But this is saying that this is, oh, got the Taurus card underneath. This is saying that you're heading towards collaboration by that card. So okay, you've got some extra cards showing up for you, Scorpio. Okay, so difficult energy, but Six of Swords, as I said, very protected, and highlighting that you're moving into a new landscape, right, and moving away from, as I said, what I find to be one of the most difficult cards. You know, you see that Five of Swords absolutely everywhere, and it's just so, it's such a futile energy, and it's so, it just confuses me so much because it just doesn't make any sense. But also it makes total fundamental sense. So holding on energy from a lot of past lives and bringing that all together in order to go on this journey to a new calmer landscape, where Venus is, where the Empress is. So the Hierophant wanted to come out. This is Taurus. This marks commitment and wisdom. This represents somebody who has been through the trials and tribulations of the mystic, right? In order to come out the other side and bridge heaven and hell together. This came up in the collective reading. And I don't like using the words heaven and hell, but this is sort of the Pope book religion. But it's more symbolizing those past life energies, those ancestral energies that are stuck in a space where it isn't abundance, right? And so the Hierophant is bridging that gap and allowing, creating a bridge for those souls, those energies to turn into a rainbow, right? And turn into something that is in union with one another. With the rainbow, for me, is enlightenment. It's the chakra body in flow, in alignment. And the Hierophant, this is, as I said, this is commitment to yourself through the journey that you've been on, and the fact that you do have something to offer. You have skills to share to the community, right? Share to the other. That seventh house energy. And really, this is the energy that's coming down of like the confidence of that, of knowing that, right? Rather than being trapped in a loop of a reflection of other people. Okay, I feel like they're sort of clicking over those calmer waters and going to my third eye, and then moving to the rocky waters and helping clear that energy out, as in the reflection in the water. We've got the Empress and the King of Wands. Now, I really like this. I think this is a great energy for a Sagittarius new moon. We've got the Empress who, as I said, she's there's the energy is flowing into Jupiter, that's flowing into this moon, and Mars is in Sagittarius, and Mars rules Scorpio. So we've got this feedback loop between Mars, Jupiter, and Venus. So they're all in union, your motivation and your drives, your passions. It's conjunct this moon, along with this desire to feel good in the 3D world, the desire, the sense of fertility within yourself, right? The sense of abundance within yourself. With the King of Wands, so this is like big manifestation fire energy of like you being confident. There's a sense of sovereignty with kings. They have the confidence and the wisdom and the authority to be able to take action. This is creativity, this is passion, this is drive, this is independence, this is spirit energy. Fire is very closely linked into source, linked into God, however you want to talk about it. And it's a king, it's able to take action this through the embodiment of Venus, this embodiment of enjoying the 3D world, enjoying your own fertility and how you manifest in the world. Well, how this energy is manifesting moving forwards, we've now got another major arcana. We've got the Star card and we've got the Six of Wands. So we've got the second six, we've got a 6 at the beginning and a 6 at the end. You do have a little bonus card here with the 3 of Pentacles. Now the Star card is about deep healing, but that's not the first thing that came to mind when I saw that card, especially with the astrology. But I always try and lean into what comes through first as sort of the main message, and that is knowing your own stardom. Right? Knowing your own value. She is uniquely herself. This is Aquarian energy, right? Which for you is in your 4th house of your roots and your foundations. And so this is, she has no clothes on. She is unmasked, right? She is she does not wearing any masks. She is liberated. She is herself. She is connected to the galactics and to the earth energy. And we are all 3 generation stardust. And this is like you embodying this sense of knowing who you are and being able to acknowledge that. And I think that's so important with this transit. And we've got the victory card, the recognition, right? This individual has gone out and done a great thing, has come back and is about to be celebrated by everybody. So if you think about this in relation to your value and the skills that you have, in relation to the 7th house of how they're appreciated, how your skills show up, in relation to you and how you embody yourself, we've got this shift away from conflict to a sense of serenity, a sense of knowing within you that you are stardust, and it being appreciated, it being valued, and coming out the other side of it. Maybe you've gone through, right, this figure, we don't know what this has done. They've also done it with other people, but this figure's mostly been in charge. We don't know what situation this person is coming from. Typically, if they're all in medieval garb, it would have been war. Right? Mars rules your sign. It's one of your chart rulers, Scorpio risings. It is traditionally the god of war. So there is an element of conflict in the nature of the signs that it rules. Now, that doesn't have to be literal war. It can be seeing everything as conflict, right? You've come out of the battle. You've come out of the battle and you are celebrated. There is the wreath of victory. There is a sense of being appreciated and appreciating what you've done, but it's also the end of the conflict, right? It's the end of the battle, where you can sit and you can breathe and you can ease and you can eat and be merry. We've got the 3 of Pentacles as your bonus card. This is mastery, which I love for the 2nd house, right? This figure knows the skills that they have and does that, enjoys that for the sake of it. It's not about what the outside world thinks. It's not about being valued. It's about you truly valuing yourself and what you have to offer and just doing what you enjoy to do. And this is also about collaboration as well. So we're bringing in the 7th house of one-to-one dynamics of like drawing towards you others who have other skills, who are appreciative of your skills. So we've got 2 cards of appreciation here, which I think is really key. But I really want to focus on Perhaps this is mastery of many different skills coming together in order to create something beautiful and long lasting. But just generally, it's just an embodiment of your own value and an embodiment of the skills that you have. And towards the end, rather than conflict, we are moving into a sense of recognition and a sense of collaboration. Okay, let's get some clarifiers for you, Scorpio. Let's see what wants to come out for my Scorpions. How are you finding Venus in Scorpio? I'm enjoying it. Oh, hello. The Magician, performer, creativity, illusion, power. It's focusing on power here. Now, the Magician is the manifestator, right? This is a great card to have in the second house. The Magician knows it has the resources that it needs in order to create in the world and bring things into manifestation, but it does so through flow. In the traditional Rider-Waite, it has the infinity symbol on it, which is all about flow, the ebb and flow. It isn't about one side or the other, right? I always use it when I'm talking about when we're doing a full moon transit with an opposition, because so often with oppositions, which you've got with Scorpio and Taurus, is we can prioritize one side over the other rather than realizing that it is an ebb of flow. Sometimes we are more one side than we are the other, but it's with the acknowledgement that most of the time we want to be in the middle, and we want to see that flow and see those resources. And the Magician has this above their head. They're able to understand what they have around them in order to create, right? In order to bring things into the world. It's not about fighting or dominating, right? It's not about the bully or the victim. It's not about taking. It's not about withholding. It is about being in flow. Right, let's get one more clarifier, because I think that Magician card, that was pretty loud and proud. Don't need to do another one from the First Light Tarot. So now we're going to get one from the numerology deck for you, my lovely Scorpios. Self-love, that came out for Sagittarius, and I think it's so important for the collective reading, which was about giving grace, giving generosity of spirit and joy to past lives. So often, so many of our grievances come from not truly feeling confident in the love that we honor and the way that we honor ourselves. And so for that to show up, there is sort of an acknowledgement of the journey that you've been on and a reclaiming of that and getting to the depths of that, right? Scorpio, you're able to get to the depths and go into the darkness, but you come out the other side on Sagittarius and bring the light in through your skills and the resources and the way in which the things that you value. There's a real sense of openness and generosity with that, and being able to share your wisdom through that transformative energy. So thank you for that. Right, let's get one more for my lovely Scorpios. Just cut the deck and got compassion, but I know that's just going to go at the end. So have compassion for yourself always. Always, 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 in every single moment of every single day, and every single lifetime, in every single universe, and every single reality. That's so hard. It's so hard to do. It's so hard. Cut the deck and got love again. Right. So it's a very clear message of not seeking, right? The King and the Empress and the Hierophant, they're not seeking outside validation. They are doing themselves. They are being themselves. They are confident in what it is that they admit into the world. They are confident in their vibrational frequency. And I just feel with all this love coming up of like, it's not about other people. It's not about the outside world. It's about how you feel in yourself and navigating through very understandable, difficult frequencies when we don't get that back. And what I feel with this new moon is it's instigating a new strength of deeper love within yourself. And that is then, by doing so, is then drawing towards this sense of recognition and cooperation that may have been blocked before, because they're really highlighting the fact that things are getting cleared in the Akashic records from other lifetimes, right, that you may feel that are to do with you but actually aren't. On that note, I'm going to leave it at that, Scorpio. Be good to yourselves, be good to those around you, and most importantly, be well until we meet again.